David knocked on my door with a manila envelope and asked if I wanted to compare weekend stories. That's how I found out my husband Tyler was sleeping with my best friend Megan while I covered for him at my sister's barbecue. Let me back up 2 minutes. It was Friday afternoon. Tyler had kissed me goodbye that morning with his overnight bag slung over his shoulder. Conference in the city until Monday, he'd said. Early meetings. Terrible Wi-Fi at the hotel. I'll text when I can. I'd smiled and told him to have fun networking, reminded him to eat something other than hotel bar food. That's what good wives do. We remind. We care. We don't know we're being played. So when David showed up at my door looking like he hadn't slept in days, holding that envelope like it might explode, my first thought was something happened to Megan. Car accident. Family emergency. Something that would explain why her husband looked like that. Lena, he said. You got 10 minutes? I had more than 10 minutes. I had a whole empty weekend planned around solo meal prep and catching up on laundry while Tyler networked his way up the corporate ladder. Or so I thought. We sat at my kitchen table. The one Tyler and I picked out together at that farmhouse furniture place in the suburbs. Reclaimed wood. Supposedly sustainable. Expensive as hell. I remember Megan helped us load it into the truck, joking about how Tyler better appreciate my eye for design. David slid the envelope across to me. Look through this. Then tell me whether your weekend stories match his. I didn't understand. Whose? Tyler's. My stomach did something weird. Not a drop. More like a sideways lurch. What are you talking about? Just read it, David said. His voice was flat, calm, the kind of calm that comes after all the screaming is done. I opened the envelope. The first page was a license plate record. Tyler's car. Parked at a garage 2 towns over on a night 3 weeks ago when he'd told me he was working late on the Henderson account. Thursday night. I remembered because I'd saved him dinner and he'd come home after 11. Kissed the top of my head. Said the client was a nightmare but they'd closed the deal. I flipped to the next page. Hotel front desk log. A room upgrade request form. 2 names listed, Tyler Morrison and Megan Chen. The date was from last month. I knew that date. That was the weekend Megan told me she was going to a concert with her college friends Sandy and April, and Tyler told me he had that last-minute business trip to review the merger docs. I'd covered for him. I'd canceled plans with my sister to watch their son's soccer game so Tyler could focus on work. And the whole time he was in a hotel room with Megan requesting a better view. My hands started shaking. The papers rattled. Keep going, David said quietly. More pages. Timestamps. Credit card charges on a shared card. David and Megan used for group outings and extras. A boutique hotel charge. Gas station receipts from the edge of town on nights Megan said she was at my house watching documentaries with me. Except she wasn't. She was never there. I looked up at David. How long have you known? Long enough to hire someone to confirm it. A private investigator? He nodded. Mike's good. Discreet. Pulls clean records. I felt something crack in my chest. Not my heart. Something sharper. Like a bone that had been bending for months and finally just snapped clean through. She used me, I said. The words came out wrong. Too quiet. I said them again louder. She used me as her alibi. She told Tyler I knew. She told you I was with her. And I just believed her because why wouldn't I? David reached across the table and tapped the envelope. There's more. Messages between a number saved as M on her phone and a secondary line I didn't recognize. Logistics, timing, nothing dirty. Just enough to show they were coordinating. I couldn't breathe right. My throat felt tight. I pressed my palms flat on the table to stop them shaking. What do you want me to do with this? I already did my part, David said. I met with a lawyer. Drew up papers. Straightforward split, equal terms. It's all signed on my side. I'm giving you copies of everything so you can do what you need to do. You're leaving her. I already left. She just doesn't know it yet. I stared at him. David was always the steady one. The guy who fixed things. Built things. Didn't make waves. And here he was, sitting in my kitchen, telling me he'd mapped out an entire exit strategy while I'd been busy pretending everything was fine. I want out too, I said. The words surprised me. I didn't plan them. They just came out fully formed, like they'd been waiting this whole time for permission. David nodded. Figured you might. When are you telling her? Monday morning. Megan's on her supposed girls' weekend right now. Concert, she said. Staying with Sandy in April. No service, maybe. She'd be back Monday around 7 a.m. I felt my jaw tighten. Tyler told me his conference runs until Monday. He'll be back around the same time. David's mouth curved. Not a smile. Something colder. They like aligning their schedules. What's your plan? Breakfast, he said. I'm making pancakes. Bacon. Coffee. I'm setting out a folder with the divorce papers on the left. Evidence on the right. She walks in, sees the spread, sees the folder, and has to choose whether to sign or leave. I felt something shift in my chest. That broken bone finding a new position. Settling into place with jagged edges. You're not yelling. You're not snatching things. You're making breakfast. Yelling doesn't get me anything I want, David said. A signature does. God, I wanted that. That calm, that certainty. I'd spent 3 years married to Tyler, building a life that looked perfect from the outside while feeling like I was slowly losing my mind on the inside. Wondering why he was distant. Why he worked late so often. Why Megan always seemed to know more about his schedule than I did. I want to do the same thing, I said. I want to wake up Monday, make coffee in my own kitchen, and watch him walk into a folder he can't talk his way out of. David pulled another envelope from his jacket. Thought you might. This is your copy. Same evidence. You'll need to get your own lawyer, but the proof is all here. I took it. The paper felt heavy, real, like I was holding the entire shape of my marriage in my hands, and it weighed almost nothing. Thank you, I said, for not telling me in a text. For respecting me enough to do this face to face. You deserve that, David said. And more. We sat there for a minute in silence. Then David stood. I'm going to head out. Call me if you need anything. Or if you just need to sit with someone who gets it. After he left, I sat at my kitchen table and read every page, twice, looking for gaps. Looking for mistakes. Looking for any reason this might not be real. There weren't any. I called a lawyer that afternoon. Melissa Turner. She'd handled my colleague's divorce last year, clean and fast. She answered on the second ring, listened to my situation without interrupting, and told me she could have papers ready by Monday morning. Equal split? She asked. Equal split, I confirmed. I'm not interested in dragging this out. I want clean. I want done. I can do that. Friday night I packed a bag. Small duffel. Couple changes of clothes. Toiletries. I wasn't running. I was regrouping. David had texted, guest room's ready if you want it. Easier to coordinate. I showed up at his place around 8. The house smelled like something normal. Dinner cooking. Life continuing. It was surreal. You good? David asked when I walked in. No, I said. But I will be. We didn't talk about them much that weekend. We went to the farmer's market Saturday morning, picked up apples and fresh bread like two normal people living normal lives. A neighbor waved at us. David didn't flinch. Lena's staying with me while her house gets treated for an ant problem, he said smoothly. The neighbor nodded. Those are brutal this year. Saturday night, I got a text from Megan. Blurry picture of a stadium crowd. Concert is amazing. Missing you. I stared at that text for a full minute. The lies were so easy for her. So casual. I didn't respond. Sunday. Melissa emailed me the papers. I printed 2 copies. One for me, one for Tyler. I put them in a folder just like David showed me. Evidence on the right. Divorce terms on the left. A pen in the middle. Monday morning. I woke up at 5:30. David was already in the kitchen. We didn't talk much. Just moved around each other making eggs, slicing strawberries, brewing coffee. The table looked perfect. Normal, abundant. That was the point. At 6:45. I heard the garage door groan at David's place next door. Megan was home. I didn't move. I stayed in David's kitchen, hands steady on the counter waiting. 7 minutes later, my phone buzzed. David. She signed. Your turn. I heard Tyler's car pull into our driveway at 7:02. I was at the stove, flipping eggs like this was any other Monday. Except David was standing by my coffee maker. And the folder was on my kitchen island. The back door opened. Tyler walked in with his weekend bag, shirt wrinkled, hair messy. That loose Monday morning energy of someone who thinks they got away with something. He froze when he saw David. Morning, I said. Calm. Even. Hungry? Tyler's eyes jumped from me to David to the folder on the counter. I watched his brain try to calculate. Confusion. Then panic. Then the hunt for a story. What's going on? He managed. Breakfast, I said. And paperwork. There's a folder on the counter. Left side is the divorce agreement. Right side is the proof. Hotel upgrade sheets on top. Your name next to Megan's because you wanted the room with the better view. His face went white. Wait, he said. Lena, we can talk about this. Just you and me. David leaned against the counter, arms crossed, silent. Tyler looked at him. This is between me and my wife. Your wife asked me to be here, David said. So I'm here. Tyler's hands shook when he opened the folder. He scanned the first page. The divorce terms. Equal split. Clean. Fair. Then he flipped to the evidence. I watched his face as he saw the hotel form. The timestamps. The credit card charges. He tried to close the folder. Tried to look up at me with those eyes that used to make me feel safe. Lena, please. I made a mistake. We can fix this. You made a choice, I said. Choices have consequences. This is mine. He reached for my hand across the counter. I stepped back. Don't, I said. David shifted. Sign or leave, Tyler. You're wasting her time. Tyler stared at the paper like it might change if he looked long enough. Then he picked up the pen. He signed in 3 quick motions. Like ripping off a Band-Aid. I took the folder back, placed it in my bag on the chair. I'll handle the rest. You can pack some essentials. I changed the alarm code. When you're ready for a full pickup, text me. I'll have your things boxed. That's it? Tyler's voice cracked. After everything we built? You ended what we built when you used me as camouflage, I said. I'm just finishing what you started. He looked at David. You too, man. You're really going to stand there and... I'm standing here, David interrupted. Because Lena asked me to. And because you sank your own boat. Tyler grabbed his bag with stiff movements and walked down the hall to our bedroom. I heard drawers, hangers, the sound of someone packing a life they misread. He came back with a duffel, eyes red but dry. I'm sorry you're hurt, he said. I raised an eyebrow. I'm not hurt. I'm done. He flinched. Then he left. David and I stood in the kitchen in silence for a minute. You okay? He asked. I'm better than okay, I said. I'm free. The next 2 weeks were logistics. Papers moved. Accounts split. I took my name off anything that didn't belong to me. Tyler tried texting a few times. Apologies that sounded like traps. I didn't respond. People ask questions. I gave simple, honest answers. It wasn't working. I'm fine. And I was. Megan tried to call once. I let it go to voicemail. Deleted it without listening. 2 months later, the divorce was final. Clean split. I kept my house, my car, my savings. Tyler walked away with what he brought in and what we'd agreed on. Nothing extra. I saw him once at the grocery store. He was on his phone, distracted. Saw me and tried to muster that old charm. It didn't land. Lena, he said. You look good. I am good, I replied. He waited for a question that didn't come. I'm figuring things out, he added. Good luck with that. I walked past him into the store. David and I stayed friends. Real friends. We didn't turn into some consolation prize romance. We became people who went through a storm and came out steady on the other side. He built me a garden bench. I helped him paint his shop. We grabbed coffee sometimes and talked about normal things. Bolts, paint colors. The way some people complicate their own lives and call it fate. You ever regret the breakfast thing? He asked once. Never, I said. It was the cleanest cut I've ever made. Life got simple after that. I started teaching weekend workshops at the community center. Picked up pottery. Joined a book club that actually reads the books. Met a guy named Ben who owns a coffee shop and talks about beans the way I talk about good design. No pressure. No promises. Just two adults who know what things cost and what they're worth. Tyler faded into the background where he belonged. Megan too. Our old circle adjusted. No one pushed us into the same room. Everyone understood where the lines were because I drew them clearly and never lifted them. Sometimes I think about that Friday when David knocked on my door. The way my whole world tilted in the time it took to read a hotel upgrade form. I don't regret opening that envelope. It gave me clarity. The strongest feeling I have about all of it isn't anger. It's relief. I gave myself back my time. My mornings. My kitchen. My weekends. I gave myself back the version of me that makes clean calls and lives with them. And that Monday breakfast, the eggs, the folder, the Comet was the best decision I ever made. Not because of the drama. Because of the final line I got to deliver when Tyler asked if we could talk later. I told him no. I told him later belongs to people who respect each other. I haven't looked back. Ben and I see each other when our schedules make sense. David texts me pictures of the new projects at his shop. The garden bench sits under a tree in my backyard. My dog sleeps beside it on sunny afternoons, that's all I want. Plain things that work. A kitchen where I cook and nobody lies. A driveway where I park my car at the end of a day that earned its quiet. A man, if it's the right one, who understands respect isn't negotiable. Tyler wanted a different story. He wrote it with someone else's character. I didn't edit it for him. I wrote my ending instead. And when the credits rolled, he walked out with what he brought in. While I kept the one thing that matters more than anything else. My self-respect. ***, full story on my channel. Broken Vows. Subscribe for more stories of betrayal, justice, and taking your power back. ***.